Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Brew with Memli. As promised, today we're going to continue our quest to brew the perfect Hario switch and understand all the intricacies of this brewer. Last week we dived into the immersion time and we decided that 45 seconds was actually a very good time for our immersion. Today we're going to talk about grind size. New hybrid recipe from Tetsu Kasuya suggests a relatively medium coarse, about 28 clicks I believe, and 8.5 at least on my Ditting to match the taste profile and the time. Now, what I'm going to do here is to use the 45 seconds immersion time, the modified recipe, because I'll be using 15 grams of coffee for 225 grams of water. Remember our recipe structures: 40 grams, 40 seconds, then 50 grams, then 60 grams, and then the last immersion 75 grams to up to 225 grams. So we have two immersion aspects, one at the beginning, one at the end, and two pour in the center. But here we wanted to discuss about that initial immersion, and last time we saw that a 40 to 45 seconds immersion was really good for our type of coffee, at least. Now, what I've done, on the middle you have the recommended grind size, which is, as I said, 8.5 on my Ditting. On your left, my right, well, on your right, my left, I have my classic grind size, which is 8 usually for that amount of coffee when I do a pour over, and then here a 9, so a little bit coarser. And let's see with the taste. Let's brew it and come up with some conclusion. The drill: 92 degrees Celsius, 125 ppm. Easy. Abaca filters, and we are going to let it steep here for 45 seconds. I find 45 seconds give us the best complexity and balance between acidity, sweetness, and texture. So it's very consistent time-wise, but you'll see that, and that's where the immersion creates some equilibrium, where finer grind size doesn't necessarily mean it's going to take longer. All right, at 2 minutes and 5 seconds, I'm going to go for even my last immersion until 225. And we are done at 3 minutes and 32 seconds. 3 minutes and 29 seconds. And 3 minutes and 26 seconds. 2 seconds, 5 seconds, it's really, really, really similar. Let's smell. So here I'm using our Peruvian coffee. I know I say that I'll be using the same Ethiopian wash, but we just sold out. So nice sweetness for the final grind size. Beautiful complexity here. Very similar. Little low in intensity, but with more clarity. Finest grind size. As expected, we have beautiful texture here, emphasizing this nice creaminess. Very sweet, fruity. And obviously we are not having the slightly floral note of this coffee, but it's really like a nice caramel, figs, plums, of this nice bourbon washed from Peru. Really, really like. We'll talk about the finish as well. Let's see the classic, I would say, medium coarse. Now we have some clarity, of course, a little bit of that fruitier flavors, but we're losing we're losing this texture that carries all the flavor. It feels sometimes almost a little bit shallow. We're losing in depth, basically. And let's see this one. Maybe this one is good. You never know with coffee, especially with grind size. Often you have two peaks in the grind distribution. You're losing a lot more texture here. Very clean floral, but you're really losing a lot of the depth on the third one, but you're gaining so much clarity. Let's check the balance of acidity, texture, and body. You see, that's what I find interesting. You still have that very nice citric acidity complementing the sweetness and a very nice texture on that one. It's not like we're losing the acidity. We have it, but we have something more. Nice, oh, super nice sweetness and brightness here. Let's go with the opposite. We're losing some of the sweetness. The brightness is still there, and it's not a high brightness here. We have a nice medium balanced acidity already in the coffee, but here we didn't extract as much. But definitely, first I go with this one. Nice sweetness too, and this one we're losing the sweetness a little bit. Now let's go back to it and check our body texture. No, sorry, and I'll check the finish. I'll start with this one, even though I know very clean, but very fast. But very clean, but very, it's not lingering. And that's really the importance of aftertaste that we don't emphasize enough, is that it carries the flavor, it carries the emotion of that coffee for few more seconds, sometimes few minutes. With a positive, you don't need like a super dark roast to have a lingering finish. And that really contributes to the excellence of the coffee, the roast, and the brew. Very sweet, lingering. And as a risk, when you go finer, you always have this risk to over extract. And remember, over extraction in lighter roast is more associated with dryness and astringency rather than bitterness, right? But here, we're in the border, I would say. It's really lingering and we don't have a dryness yet. So this one is much, this one really lingers more than that one. However, oh, as I say, this one is at the limit of dryness. Maybe as it goes down, if we go a tad finer, we'll start getting some astringency. Whether than here, we have a very good finish. It's a good balance of, it's not as sweet as that one, but the finish is slightly more pleasant. Let's do my favorite exercise to see if this is BS or not. triangulation. Okay, we mixed it up. I only did 8 and 8.5. The coarse, sorry, 8 and 8.5. The coarse one, I think it will be too easy. So let's just do this. Yes, here you go. It's not easy. Believe me, it's not that easy. What happened is that as it cools down, the acidity got a slightly sharper on the 8.5 than the 8. The 8 really kept its cool. Nice, smooth, sweet. Rather than the 8.5 gets slightly out of balance as it cools down. So I'm gonna go in that building block that we are doing with 8, maximum 8.25 for a washed coffee, and with natural or carbonic maceration, 7.5 to 8. That will be my range for our second block. The first immersion, we kept it at 45 seconds. Now we have a grind size range. Next time, we are going to explore volume of immersion. Here's why. If you put a little bit of coffee in your cup, it cools down quicker. If you fill your cup, it keeps the heat more because of thermal inertia. It's the same thing as in roasting, basically. So if instead of 40 grams, we use 50, 60 grams for the first pour, maybe it will dissipate less heat and extract more, or better. I don't know. And that's what we're gonna see next week. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time for more video.